If you're a marketing leader and video demand is increasing, you eventually face a decision. Do you hire more editors or do you actually change the way video is delivered? Most teams don't experience this as a strategic decision. They just default to hiring. After all, the CMO could always use a few more bodies to throw under the bus. But I've seen this mistake play out in another domain. Think about a construction site that's falling behind schedule. The instinctive response always is, let's get more workers in here. Let's get the subcontractors here tomorrow. But if there's no site plan, no sequencing, no material flow, adding more people doesn't speed things up. It just slows everything down. Crews wait on each other. Mistakes get torn out and redone. Subcontractors all have an easy excuse to go home early, drag their feet, and point the finger at one another. The problem never was the number of workers. It was the absence of a system that defined what happens next. Video crews fall into the same trap. Now here's where I can be really specific because I've lived this from inside the edit bay. I've spent over 20 years as an editor and producer inside network television and branded environments, and I can tell you, most breakdowns don't start with the editors. They start with unstable direction. I've worked for a respected and competent television executive producer who would give clear direction. We would execute it, but the next edit pass would come back completely overturned by the network executive. Not refined, not clarified, reversed. So the editor adjusts, the team pivots, another pass goes out, and 2 days later, we're doing another 180. Not because anyone was careless, but because no system existed to lock decisions before the work began, or because the president of the studio had a bad day. But this is the part leadership often doesn't see. From the outside, it looks like progress. From inside the edit team, it feels like running in circles. In the book, The Art of the Deal by the ultimate wheeler dealer himself, Donald Trump, there's a passage where he's developing a property in Atlantic City. The construction on the project is stalled due to lack of financing, union holdups, and permitting. But Trump has a problem. He's got investors coming into town, and they want to see progress at the worksite. So Trump, ever the showman, hires a local construction crew with a bobcat or a payloader and has them pick up dirt on one side of the foundation pit of this building and move it to the other. When they get there, he says, move it back. All day long, this skeleton crew is moving dirt from one side of the foundation pit to the other. Meanwhile, Trump is driving by, whining and dining his investors, and to them it looks like progress is going on. Now, I'm sure if you were one of the guys on that crew that day and you were in on the joke with Trump, you would think that was hysterical. But if you're an editor working 10 to 12-hour days, 5 days a week, alone inside an edit bay, you're not going to think moving dirt back and forth is all that much fun. Here's what happens. Morale drops, confidence erodes. Editors stop trusting direction because direction keeps moving from one side of the dirt pit to another. When teams respond to this by hiring more editors, nothing fundamental happens. You just have more people experiencing the same instability. This is why the distinction that matters isn't talent or effort. It's this. Editors add capacity, systems add leverage. Capacity lets you do more work, and leverage ensures the work doesn't get undone. When editors are added to a workflow without locked decisions, standards drift. What was proved becomes revisited. What was locked becomes reopened. Execution depends less on skill and more on who spoke last. A delivery system changes the experience for everyone. Instead of asking, how many editors do we need? You ask, which decisions should never change midstream? Teams that successfully scale video don't rely on editors to absorb their creative indecision. They define which decisions are locked, who owns creative direction, and when feedback is allowed. That doesn't reduce creativity, it protects it. This is also why AI complicates things for teams that haven't solved this yet. AI doesn't stabilize direction, it just executes faster. Speed simply means running faster back and forth with those shovels of dirt. The question you should be asking yourselves isn't, should we hire more editors or use AI? The real question is, have we earned our speed yet? The best teams don't avoid hiring, they just don't lead with it. They design their systems first. Decision ownership, approval timing, creative lock points, and then they add people. When creativity compounds, when execution compounds, the question you should be asking yourselves isn't, should we hire more editors or use AI? The real question is, have we earned our speed yet? The best teams don't avoid hiring, they just don't lead with it. They build their systems first. Decision ownership, creative lock points, approval timing, and then they add people when execution actually compounds. Here's a test. Give your best editor the day off tomorrow. Yes, that tomorrow, the one where 50 deliverables are due by 3 p.m. Did the work merely slow down, or did direction totally fall apart? If the answer was the latter, your system was doing too little. Hiring more editors isn't a mistake, but throwing them into an indecision buzzsaw is. Sure, capacity will let you cope with demand and deadlines. Cope. Isn't that what drugs, alcohol, and codependent relationships let you do with loneliness? Leverage. Leverage lets you scale. In the next video, I'll show you how one piece of video content can power your entire marketing funnel without your editors running back and forth with all that dirt.